What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. These are my Draftkings picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 33, aka the worst card of the year by far. I mean, this card just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It was already bad with 15 fights. We lost a very good fight in the Dawkins fight. We lost Sam Alvey, and then we just lost Mounir Lazzez. We now lost Mounir Lazzez. Stepping in on short notice is Jared Gooden. This card's a mess, and I feel like it can get worse. I mean, we've seen fights get pulled off like the night before fight day as of late. Even fights on fight day have been pulled out. So I do expect it to probably get worse as well. So nonetheless, it's another opportunity to make some money. I feel like this DraftKings slate is very interesting. I feel like it's a pretty simple slate where there are some fights that you're going to want to target. We'll talk about those. We'll talk about some betting as well. Before we get started, if you guys can leave a like on this video, also subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio so you not miss out on the other content throughout the week. Lots of great guys on the channel. If you guys have not yet, go check out me and Uncle Weezy's show we did on Sunday, Stat Diggers. We're going to do it every single week, 7:15 p.m. on Sunday. Also have a very big announcement in terms of this Tuesday slot. Next week, you're going to see a completely different show. I'm not going to completely announce it yet. I will be making that announcement on Stat Diggers, but just know this show is about to change a ton, and I feel like you guys are going to love it. We're going to definitely change the game. So mark your calendars for next Tuesday for UFC 265, I believe it is. You're going to see a completely different format and a completely different show, and I feel like you guys are definitely going to like it. So with all that out of the way, I want to hit up the chat real quick. We have the Gaming Wolf. Stolze's fight got a replacement. Yes, he did. And yes, we did lose 2 fights. So, I mean, it sucks. The card already sucked. The card sucks even more. It is what it is. We got some fights, so that's all we can ask for. I hope I have said his name correct. Almost. Stolze, something like that. Preston, what's up, Preston? How many more fights will we lose? If I had to guess, probably one or two more, maybe. We now have 13 fights, but we're in Vegas, so a good chance we do lose another one, either on weigh-in day, the night before, or like an hour before fight. So it sucks, but yeah, that's what we're going to deal with this week. What's up, Bon? It's always the fights that are the most needed that get canned. Hello, this card is a wreck. Yeah, it's a wreck indeed. It is definitely a wreck. Worst card of the year, but maybe it delivers. Maybe Ashley Yoder versus Jin Yu Fry delivers. Maybe Nico Montano versus Wu Yanan delivers. You never know. You never know. So we'll talk some DraftKings. We'll talk some betting as well. You can ask any questions or say whatever you want in the chat while we do it. I'll hit up the chat every once in a while. But yeah, we'll get into it. Starting with the first fight of the night, Orion Cosce going against Philip Rowe. So I did do a DraftKings video on my channel, DFS by the numbers, and I talked about this fight being the most likely in terms of the odds to end inside the distance. It is the first fight of the night. You guys know how I do feel about that. And I feel like this fight is going to be very important. You have Orion Cosce, who's a very good wrestler, has very good ground and pound. Not the best striker, but he does put like everything into his shots. He's looking for that knockout. And I do want to go to the finish rates of both fighters here. And you'll notice that both fighters have a 100% finish rate. Both fighters in 17 fights have never, ever won by decision. And honestly, I don't see that changing here. So for me personally, I really like the value on Philip Rowe. Philip Rowe, maybe not the most talented guy, but take a look at his stats here. 6'3" compared to Cosce, 5'11". He's going to have a 4-inch height advantage and an 80.5-inch reach. He's going to have a 9.5-inch reach advantage. So you got to imagine that Cosce is going to want to get this fight down to the mat. And on the mat, Rowe's not terrible. I mean, off his back, I've seen him get multiple reversals and sweeps. He got 2 against Gabe Green, ended up on top, landing some great ground and pound. On the Contender Series, was able to get a reversal as well. I've seen him do it prior to the UFC also. He has a brown belt in BJJ. He's training with guys like Gerald Mearshart and Rodolfo Vieira. And this guy's credentialed. He's a good grappler. He's a very good grappler. He's very long. He's very tricky. And I think he can give Cosce a lot of problems. This is going to be the toughest test of Cosce's career. And I kind of like the dog here. But with that said, Cosce is absolutely live for a knockout. This guy hits very, very hard. He's a finisher. He's dangerous. I was listening to a Cosce interview, and he was talking about not putting it in the hands of the judges. Because why would you? Why would you? Especially after watching the fights this past Saturday, why would you want it to go in the hands of the judges? So he's looking for a finish. He doesn't want to go to the scorecards. I'm assuming Rowe doesn't as well. Both guys never won by decision. I don't see that changing here. So I like Rowe. I like the physical advantages. I think he's the better striker. I think that 9.5-inch reach is going to give Cosce a lot of problems. I think on the mat, Rowe's the better grappler. I give Cosce the power advantage. I give Cosce the wrestling advantage. But other than that, I think Rowe's the better fighter overall. I think this line's way off, and I will pull up the odds here. My bad, guys. I was running late, so I didn't have it set up. But we do see that Kosuke is a decent-sized favorite. Let me pull it up. There it is. I don't know why they put the Olympics on here. Like, who cares, you know? Who cares? So I got to scroll all the way down. All the way down. Like, nobody's betting on the Olympics. There we go. So Kosuke opened up minus 185. He's currently minus 150. And Rowe opened up plus 160, currently plus 130. So some money's coming in on Rowe, and for a very good reason. This fight should be a pick'em. This fight should definitely be a pick'em. I think Rowe can give Kosuke a lot of problems in this fight. So I don't know what I'm going to do with my exposure yet. It is early. It is Tuesday. But I do know I'm going to have a lot of this fight. Either it's Kosuke getting takedowns, finding a finish, whether it's on the mat, ground and pound. Maybe he knocks out Rowe on the feet as well. Or whether it's a Rowe getting reversals, getting sweeps, ending up on top, landing some ground and pound, maybe finding a submission. We do see that Rowe has some submissions on his record. So, yeah, I like this fight as a whole. The pick for me is going to be Rowe. But overall, it's a fight you're probably going to want to target on DraftKings. So I personally did bet Rowe. I believe I got him at either plus 151, plus 152. I missed out on the plus 160. And we do see, like I said, money coming in on Rowe for a very, very good reason. I think this is a very close fight. I'm also very interested in the alternative under 2.5, which don't have it yet on DraftKings Sportsbook or FanDuel Sportsbook, but on 5 Dimes, it's minus 135. I love that a lot. Like I said, both guys, 17 fights combined, never won by decision. I think someone gets finished. So I will be looking at that alternative under 2.5. Don't know if I touch the under 1.5. I do think it does get a little bit extended. I kind of see Rowe taking over as the fight goes on, but I'm looking at the under. I'm looking at Rowe, and I'm targeting this fight on DraftKings for sure. But yeah, should be a fun fight to start the card. Kind of a low-level fight, but hey, it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be violence for sure. I didn't see anything on Tap All. Yeah, it just got announced probably 30 minutes, an hour ago. Danny Chavez, $100. Trevin Jones, $100. Garcia, Barber, Montano, Parlay, $200. Yeah, I'm kind of going the other way on the Chavez and Jones. But yeah, wish you luck. I'm not betting on either of their opponents. So best of luck to you. We got Sosa in the chat. What's up, Sosa? Hello, how you doing? We got Thomas in the chat. Sorry I'm late. Mounir Lazzez versus Niklas Stolze is off. Yep, it's not off. Stolze's still on, but Stolze did get a new opponent. We'll talk about him a little bit. Jared Gooden. Have not had time to research it yet as it just happened, but we can kind of talk about it a little bit. But yeah, Sosa's right. We'll be facing Jared Gooden. Not Jared Gordon, Jared Gooden. Two different fighters there. So we'll get to the next fight here. And yeah, probably in my opinion, this is my favorite fight on the card. Outside of the main event, we have Trevin Jones going against Ronnie Lawrence. Trevin Jones is 7,500. Ronnie Lawrence is 8,700. And we can kind of take a look at some of these numbers for Ronnie Lawrence thus far. And it's only a 2-fight sample. But, I mean, to look at him, he averages 10.83 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 76% takedown accuracy. This guy reminds me of like a Merab Dvalishvili, where he's going to go for takedowns early and often. He's going to get a ton of them. He has the cardio to back it up as well. And I think is a very, very important piece on DraftKings this week. 8,700, I'm going to be all over it. He will be my highest exposed fighter. But on the flip side, Trevin Jones. Trevin Jones has been very, very dangerous as of late. 2 knockout wins in the UFC. But you kind of take a look at Trevin Jones and what he's done before the UFC. Only has a total of 3 knockout wins in 19 fights. Like, that's weird to me because, in the UFC, he looks like a murderous power puncher. But you take a look outside of the UFC, and not many knockouts. Only a 23% knockout rate, a 31% submission rate for a 53% finish rate overall. And he goes in the UFC and he's starching people. So Ronnie Lawrence, 57% finish rate. I do kind of see Ronnie Lawrence winning by decision. I see him getting multiple takedowns, a ton of control time. And honestly, I think he has the highest ceiling on the slate, and we're getting him at 8,700. So he's going to be my favorite play on the entire card. But on the flip side, Trevin Jones, he's been winning. He's been winning by knockout. He's been winning as an underdog, and he's an underdog here as well. So I do think he's going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate just because he has been pulling these upsets. But I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to keep that up, especially here against Ronnie Lawrence, who's going to be taking him down. He's not really going to give him many opportunities, to knock him out. So I like Ronnie Lawrence. Trevin Jones, not a terrible dog play, because if Jones wins, it's going to be by finish. I don't see Jones winning by decision. Jones is a black belt in BJJ for what it's worth, But you take a look at the tape, he can be taken down. He can be stuck on his back as well. And I do expect Lawrence to have quite a bit of success there in this fight. So take a look at the odds here. Lawrence minus 153 opened up as a minus 180. Money came in on Jones right away. And now money is starting to come in on Lawrence. Don't know where the line's going to close. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be betting this fight either way. I don't even want to look at any props. I do lean towards the over, but man, Trevin Jones is so dangerous. The over is plus 100, minus 110. Don't love it, to be honest. I think Lawrence does win, but it's really hard to completely count out Trevin Jones. He's been on a roll. He's been looking good. He's been looking dangerous, but I do think Lawrence should get it done here. If anything, maybe Lawrence by decision, which is plus 246. Not terrible, but I'm trying to, really limit my action this week. This card is an absolute shit show, so probably won't get there from a betting perspective. But on a DraftKings perspective, I will be very, very highly exposed to this fight, with Lawrence being my highest owned fighter, and that's pretty good chance he is for sure. Billy in chat, this one got my head spinning. Yeah, I like Lawrence, but again, Jones has been very dangerous. Boston Nick in the chat. What is up, Nick? How are you doing? Yep, Jared Gooden's the guy that did lose to Abu Bakr. Yes, sir. We have Philip in the chat. Big Brain, what's up? What is up, Philip? How you doing? Hopefully you are well. I hate this card, man. Hey, a lot of people do. Only have bets on Lawrence with the assumption that Jones won't land that hard counter, which is his only path to victory. Thinking fight isn't a good decision in the Benoit fight, in Bays by decision. I agree with both of those for the most part. I would not bet the Bays fight, to be honest. But if she does win, it is probably by decision. See what else we got in the chat here. Going to have one screen with UFC and the other screen with Bellator. Yeah, people are saying that the Bellator card is better than the UFC card, and I kind of agree, to be honest. Trevin Jones taught me to respect him the hard way twice. Hey, yeah, same. It could be 3 times this week. It very well could be. We have the GOAT in the chat, Tajik Bey, the dude that got first place on DK, $9,000 to Tajik Bey. Shout out to him. Very good lineup he had. And enjoy that money, man. That's a ton. I can't find odds on the 1FC card. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. All right, so we will get to the next fight here. And we have, oh my goodness, man. Ashley Yoder going against Jinyu Fry. Not much to talk about here. Jinyu Fry, she's low volume. Talked about it on my prediction video and with Uncle Weezy. In her 3 fights, she's landed like 25, 26, and 27 significant strikes. If she does win, which she could, this is women's MMA, anything can happen. She's not going to score anything at all. She's going to win by decision, I guess. It's not going to score anything. She throws absolutely nothing. She's going to be very, small in this fight compared to Yoder, who's going to have a 4-inch height advantage, a 4.5-inch reach advantage. And yeah, I like Yoder in this fight. But again, like on DraftKings, I think there's better fights to target. If anything, I'll have some Yoder just because I think she can get takedowns. We have seen Fry stuck on her back. We have seen Fry submitted. But man, what an absolute shit show of a fight this is. I'll pick Yoder. I'm not high on Fry. She's a 36-year-old strawweight who should be an atomweight. She's not good. No volume. She does nothing in the fight. I don't know how she won her last fight against Paula, but that was mostly because Paula looked like she wanted to lose that fight, made no effort to get up to her feet. But yeah, I mean, Yoder should win. We'll take a look at the odds. I'm pretty confident in Yoder, to be honest, but do I really want to bet it? No, I do not, because you can't trust her. What is she, like 8-7? Terrible record, women's MMA. So there is probably a good chance that Yoder does throw it away somehow. I don't know how, but there's a good chance that it happens. So who knows? I'll go with Yoder. For DraftKings, no thank you, man. No thank you. If anything, Yoder. If anything, but it's just really hard to get there. I think there's so many much better plays in the range around him. So yeah, no thank you for me. If you're betting on this fight, good luck. Yeah, might have to pull up the 1-800-GAMBLER for sure because, man, this is a not fight you don't want to bet on. DFS likes ass. There you go. Shout out to Miles hanging out. Yeah, I don't know what it is. The trolls have been out in the MMA community as of late. It's weird. Something's going on. I've noticed a lot of trolls on a lot of different content creators' accounts. And it just sucks, man. I mean, if you're going to talk shit, how about, you use your real name? I'm on here. I'm on camera, and it's just not fair because there's people with the troll accounts. They don't use their real name. They come in, they talk shit. They obviously won't say it to your face, so it just sucks, man. And it's been getting worse and worse. Like there's so many troll accounts. I have a feeling that it's like one or two guys doing it. I also feel like it's, I don't want to get too much into it, but just some losers out there, man. Like if you talk crap behind a troll account, you're a loser. Miles, you're a loser, dude. You are a loser. So they should have a bet for us, Deegans, on the over-under fights or on the remaining of the card. Yeah, they should for sure. DFS likes booty in his mouth from men. Man, you sound like a 12-year-old kid, dude. I've been too harsh on this card. There's some spots, but it does have the same draw as the Olympic men's equestrian events for the most part. There you go. Don't bet on one FC. I'd never do that. Gooden versus Stolze prediction. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Stolze should be about -160. I was thinking he probably will be the favorite, the slight favorite, if anything. Bubakar beat Gooden on the feet. I'm going Stolze. Yeah, that was weird. I did not expect that. Can't bet on Yoder, a girl who strikes autistically, and Fry, who is on the edge of menopause, 100 gambler. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I would never bet that. Ever since MMA Guru got exposed, yeah, I mean, it's been terrible. I feel bad. Like I can take it. I don't care about trolls. I mean, they don't get to me at all. I just think they're losers for sure. Most of the time, I'll just let them talk shit. But yeah, there's some real losers out there, dude. The trolls came from Guru's chat. I don't know who it is. I don't know. I have a feeling who it is, but just they're a loser. There's a loser. They wouldn't say it to my face. They wouldn't say it to anybody's face, probably. Sitting behind a fake name, it's just not a good look. It's definitely not a good look, man. Miles Keyboard Warrior, yes, sir. They're all combo Parlay King, Prediction Guru products of several generations of incest. Yeah, I don't know who's doing it, but yeah, it's funny. James Lynch cries when he gets trolls. I don't know if I'm up with that. Oh, what is up? The real Bung Hoots, how you doing, man? All right, so we'll get to the next fight, and we have Kaikamakidani Chavez. Should be a oh my goodness. Should be a sorry guys. Should be a pretty good fight here. On a card that sucks, this fight's kind of good. Kaikamakidani Chavez. The problem is I don't like either of these guys. I see a ton of holes in both their games. Both guys slow down as the fight goes on. You have Kaikamaka, who at least throws a ton of volume. You take a look at it there. He lands 5.63 significant strikes per minute. You have Danny Chavez, who doesn't really throw anything, lands 2.93 significant strikes per minute. He throws very, very hard, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I mean, Kaikamaga is going to have more volume. I guess what's interesting is going to be the grappling stats in this fight. Both guys can be taken down. We saw Jared Gordon was able to take down Danny Chavez a couple times, was able to control him. And we also saw Jonathan Pierce was able to take down Kaikamaka like 3, 4, 5 times, was able to finish him in that second round. So who knows? Like, this is the toughest fight to call on the card for me. I'm going to lean with the younger guy in Kaikamaka. He looked a little bit better in his fight against TJ Brown. By the way, I did think he won that fight, but he more than likely will be throwing more volume. If he does go to the takedowns, I think he'll have success, but who knows? I mean, Danny Chavez can implement a takedown-heavy game plan himself, but as far as DK, not overly interested. We'll take a look at their finish stats and just like the worst finish stats on the entire card. Believe it or not, it's worse than Ashley Yoder and Jinyu Fry. I mean, Jinyu Fry at least has a 30% finish rate, whereas Kamaka has a 13% finish rate, one win by submission, and Jinyu Fry or Danny Chavez a 27% finish rate, 27% by knockout. So a fight that, typically I'd be interested in this 8,200, 8,000 matchup, but more than likely goes to decision. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I guess I'll have some because it should be like a high volume fight, at least in terms of Kamaka, but it's really hard to see anybody getting finished. So I'll take Kamaka. You will not see me betting this fight. We'll see what the odds are. -110 each way. And that's kind of how I see it. I mean, who knows? Both these guys have a ton of holes in their game, but at least Kai Kamaka, he's young. He's at a good camp. We're going to expect improvements, whereas Chavez is like 34, 35 years old. But yeah, I'll take Kamaka as far as a pick, but probably the hardest fight to call on the entire card. This card is literally them putting a name of fighters in their division in a hat and go on from there. Yeah, I agree. This is very bad. This card sucks on paper big time. Yeah, but it could deliver. It could deliver. Kaikamakidani decisions only play if you're betting Kai. I don't know if they have the props out yet, but yeah, either guy by decision should be fine. But they don't even have the props out yet. They have Chavez by decision plus 246. Not a fight I really want to get involved in. So this card is what happens when Hunter and Dana get drunk and high together for 3 days, no sleep. Exactly. Kai has street drunk legs. And yeah, I think Kai has some upside, man. I think he has some upside. He's a young guy. He can make improvements, but Andy Chavez is easy. He's like 34 years old. So we'll definitely see. All right. So getting into the next fight here, we have Rafa Garcia going against Chris Gruetzemacher. Garcia, 26 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach, going against Gruetzemacher, who is going to be 9 years older, 35 years old. He will be an inch taller. So, yeah, not many fighters you can really be confident on this card, right? And Garcia is definitely somebody I am confident in. And, yeah, I think there's a very good chance he gets a finish here. So we'll take a look at the finish stats, as I do think they're pretty important. So Rafa Garcia, 66% finish rate, 66%, 58% by submission. And we take a look that Gruetzemacher has been submitted 3 times, and Gruetzemacher has also been finished in all of his losses. Chris Gruetzemacher has never, ever lost by decision. Rafa Garcia, he's well-rounded, solid striker, really good wrestler, and a great grappler to go along with it. And that's kind of where Gruetzemacher struggles. He gets taken down quite a bit. I think it's like a 62% takedown defense, a very poor grappling defense as well. And he showed up in his last fight against Alexander Hernandez, and he looked like dog shit. I mean, he took a pretty big layoff. It was like 2 or 3 years. He came back, and he looked horrible. He looked terrible. If that same Gruetzemacher shows up, Garcia's going to run through this guy. And I like Garcia. He's well-rounded. He's young. He's 26 years old. And he made a good account for himself in that loss to Nazareth Hakparast. He came in that fight on short notice. Everybody thought that Nazareth is going to knock this guy out in the first round, including me. But no, this guy has a chin. This guy's tough. This guy has heart. And he fought a very hard 3 rounds with Nazareth Hakparast. Even went for 3 takedowns. Obviously, Nazareth has a really good takedown defense. Gruetzemacher does not. And I think the UFC is really trying to build up Garcia here and try to give him a win. And I do believe that the UFC would prefer Garcia to win in this fight. And so would I, because I do have a bet on him. So what I did was, like I said, Gruetzemacher has been finished in 100% of his losses. I think Garcia has a very good chance to just run through this guy, whether it is a submission or a knockout. I think either one could happen. Taking him down, either pounding him out or finding that sub. And we do see Garcia inside the distance is plus 150. I do have a bet on that. And then, I don't want to do a parlay on this card, but if I was to do a parlay, I think, Garcia as a parlay piece isn't the worst option in the world. And like I said, on a card that is an absolute shit show, this is a fight I'm confident in. I'm pretty confident in Rafa Garcia. I think the minus 280, solid parlay piece. And don't know if I'm doing a parlay. Good chance I'm not, but maybe, parlay up Rafa Garcia with like Amanda Nunes next week, Solid parlay there, to be honest. I think it comes out to like minus 190, which is not terrible. It's not terrible because obviously Nunes is going to run through Pena, and I think Garcia runs through Gruetzemacher here. As far as DK goes, I like Garcia, and I touched on my DraftKings video that the pricing really doesn't matter. You can play any lineup you want. So the 9,500, it might scare some people away, but really not concerned about it. I think Garcia has takedown upside, a lot of volume upside, and I really do believe he has a very good chance to find either submission or a knockout. I am curious, what is Garcia by submission? Because he has finished the majority of his fights by submission, over a 55% submission rate. Gruetzemacher has been subbed 3 times. Garcia by plus 300. We'll have to see what FanDuel Sportsbook comes out with, but yeah, I think Garcia probably does submit him, but no, I think he can do whatever he wants here. Yep, Granite Chin. I was impressed because I thought that he's gonna get knocked out, but no. Rafa for Optimal, he looks like a savage. Yeah, the dude's a savage. He's good. I like him a lot. Biggs Omega, what is up, Big Zo? How you doing? This is a hey boss. I don't need Saturday off this week kind of week. Exactly. Hit the like, support this man. Appreciate that, Philip. Yep, let's get those likes up for sure. Garcia, a grappler, but Garcia is probably going to make Groot's eyes roll in his head round 1. Only fight worth a damn, bar the main one. Yeah. I like Garcia. Played him inside the distance, and you might see a parlay with him. Trying to really stay away from the parlays for this card, but there's some solid parlay pieces next week. Alonzo Menafield looks solid first look. Obviously, Amanda Nunez, so you might see one of those. Sometimes I do like parlaying, one on this card, one on the next card, because there's not really 2 fighters that parlay on this card, to be honest. You need to pick more underdogs. I'm picking a lot of dogs this week, man. I'm picking a lot of dogs. Not sure how many. I was picking Sam Alvey. He was a big dog. I am going Uriah Hall. Let's see, what else am I picking? Philip Rose, a dog as well. There's another dog I was picking as well. But yeah, I think there's going to be a decent amount of dogs hit this week for sure. Garcia is shit odds. Not the best odds, but I do think he wins. Garcia, 1 KO in 12 might be a little bit concerning. Yeah, but he has a ton of submissions, though. I think he's going to submit Grutzmacher. Rafa, safest cash game option. Yep, he'll be in my cash games. I'd rather have him over like a Barberena, over like a Montano. Yeah, he'll be in my cash games for sure. I got a big bet on Garcia Strickland parlay. There you go. Good luck. I'm going the other way on Strickland, but there's a good chance he does win. I had him parlayed with Dawkins. Crash and fail that was. Well, still, I think you can hit that single bet there. All right, so getting into the next fight, we have a very exciting fight. I know Billy Briz is looking forward to this fight. I saw he did an article on this fight on Pub Sports Radio. Go check that out, guys. I glanced through it a little bit, saw his prediction for it, and I agree 100% with Billy here. I think Melsik Bagdasaryan has a very good chance of finding a finish in this fight. You take a look at this guy, man. He's good. He is a very good striker. He hits like an absolute truck. He comes forward. He looks for that finish. On the Contender Series, there's a ton of guys that would not be able to eat those same shots that guy did against him. And he comes out, he looks for that 60-second bonus. He is somebody that has finished 4 of his MMA wins, all in like 62 seconds combined. Like, he gets in, he gets out. You go take a look at some of his fights. He comes out there and he looks for that finish, which I love. And I think the guy's legit. But guys are going to want to take him down. The majority of people that he's going to face are going to want to get this fight down to the mat because they're not going to want to strike with him, especially Colin Anglin, who, don't get me wrong, he's not a terrible striker, but you don't want to strike with Melsik here. And Colin Anglin, solid wrestler, solid grappler. He will have probably a cardio advantage. We saw Melsik slow down after that first round in his Contender Series fight, but still, he was able to still out-volume his opponent in all 3 rounds. So I like Melsik here on DraftKings, 8,600. I think he's live for a first-round KO. A KO as well. Anglin's very tough, never been knocked out, but he's never fought Melsik Bagdasaryan. As far as Anglin, I think he's a pretty solid dog play as well, because if he is able to survive the early storm of Melsik and he is able to get this fight down to the mat, he can definitely rack up takedowns, control time, maybe get a late finish himself. But me personally, I do think Bagdasaryan catches him early in that first round. I think this guy's the real deal. He's only 29 years old. Keep working on that takedown defense because guys are going to want to take you down. But on the feet, this guy is legit. Kickboxing background, kickboxing champion, a little bit of a boxing background as well. And yeah, this guy's a beast. This guy's an absolute beast. He's going to fight for your money. He's going to look for a finish early, and that's kind of what you want. Colin Anglin, same thing. He's going to go for takedowns. It's kind of what you want as well. So I think this fight's pretty important. Don't know how owned it's going to be yet. Haven't done ownership yet. I'll probably do that sometime tonight or tomorrow. But I think it's an important fight. As far as the odds, so I do have a bet on this fight already. And I took a half-unit shot on Melsik by KO. I believe I got it like plus 325, something like that. Money has came in on that since. Now plus 250. I think there's a very good chance that he does get the KO. Plus 250 is not terrible. We'll see what FanDuel and DraftKings comes out with. And then Bagdasaryan in round 1, I'm interested in plus 500. What is Bagdasaryan by first-round knockout? Plus 600. So I think all those are live. I did take a half-unit shot on Bagdasaryan by knockout. And I think there's a good chance that happens. Even like the under 2.5 is fine. Plus 115, you got fight doesn't go to decision at plus money. I think that's fine because I think it's going to be Melsik Bagdasaryan early, or I think Colin Anglin could potentially get him out of there late as well. So fight doesn't go to decision at plus money. It does cover both sides. Not horrible. But I did take a small stab on the Melsik by KO prop as I thought the line was way off. I thought it was way off, so took a shot on that. But yeah, the guy's a beast. The guy's an absolute beast. I can't wait to see him fight. All right. Yeah, Billy, Melsick's season. I believe Billy has a big play on Melsick. By the way, what was the line on Melsick? Curious to see that. Melsick is minus 133. Minus 133. Opened up as a dog for some reason. Yeah, minus 133 for Melsick. Don't know if I'll get there from a money line perspective, but I did take the KO prop. I like Colin England. Grappling looked great on Contender Series, bro. Yep, good grappling, good wrestling. He's going to need to go to the wrestling very early and often. You give Colby a chance against Usman this November. I'm going Usman. I don't love the odds. I think I saw Usman at like minus 270. Don't love that. I do think it will be very competitive, but I do slightly lean on the Kamaru Usman side, but not minus 270. I think his Contender Series opponent is better than England. Okay. I mean, yeah, his opponent was pretty good. He looked decent on the feet, much more well-rounded than England, and he will take the decision. I think he knocks him out personally, but he could outpoint him a decision. Stolze is going to be about plus 110 versus Gooden. I kind of think he'll be a slight favorite, but again, I haven't really looked into that fight. England does have a cardio advantage. I agree. I was going to parlay Melsick with Garcia for plus money, but I don't have the stones like Brisbane to bet it hard. Respect. Yep. Billy's looks like he's all in on Melsick and for a very good reason. Most of us make these for sure parlays every week that never cash. Nothing's for sure in MMA. Tell me about it. Absolutely tell me about it. If you like a read, no matter how outlandish it seems to play it, yep. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Jinyu Fry can win by flying armbar. Anything can happen. I forgot to mention, all of Garcia's wins are under 1.5 rounds. Really? He has some decisions, though, right? I think England's win. I think England wins personally. He could. He needs to go to that wrestling, though. Garcia round 2 sub. I see a submission as well myself. Did anyone know that it's Stolze versus Jared Gooden? Pretty sure. What is up, Brandon Ortega? Gooden odds are out. Gooden is plus 170. Kind of, expected that. What is that block bet MMA? Kind of expected that. Should be probably closer line than that, but yeah, I did expect Stolze to be a slight fave. England for me by decision. Yep, that's his path to victory. Stoked to hear you're on Hall. Yeah, I haven't bet it yet, but there is an angle I really do like in that fight. We'll talk about it. All his finishes. Okay, makes sense. I like it. To be honest, all of Melsick's opponents that he KO'd early had been KO'd early. Already been KO'd, okay. Or went to get KO'd early. So these quick stoppages are weird. And again, not the best competition. You're so late. Yeah, just a little bit. All right, so we'll get into the next fight here. Before I do so, if you guys can leave a like on the video, let's get those likes up. I want to remind you guys to be sure to tune in. Mark down on your calendars next Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I have some huge news. This show is going to be a completely different format. You guys are going to love it. I'm going to announce what's going to happen on Stat Diggers on Sunday. Can't wait to make the announcement. I've been looking forward to it for about a month now, and it's going to be a phenomenal thing. That's all I'll say, but just be sure to be here next Tuesday. Have a huge surprise. Okay. What do we have now? Oh my goodness. Nico Montano, Wu Yanan. I like Montano, I guess. What the heck? I like Montano, I guess. 9,100. Solid. I think she has an opportunity to get takedowns here. Control time. I think she can score pretty well on DK. Wu Yanan is somebody that got taken down 5 times by one Gina Mazzani. Mazzani was able to have success on the mat as well. Montano was definitely able to get it down to the mat. Montano, a very good grappler as well. Had a very competitive fight with Juliana Pena, somebody we're going to see fight for a title for some reason next week against Amanda Nunes. So yeah, Montano's good. I think she's another level above Wu Yanan. She's fought the much better level of competition, and I just plain out think she's the better fighter for sure. It's just we have not seen Montano fight in, I believe, 2 years. It's been a while, but she comes back, looks like her old self. I think she probably runs through Wu Yanan and picking up a lot of Draftkings points on the way. As far as betting it, no thank you. We have Montano minus 240 now. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Probably wouldn't parlay her, but if you do want to absolutely do a parlay, I think she could be fine. But women's MMA, anything can happen. Wu Yanan's dangerous. Wu Yanan's a finisher. I do want to take a look at the finish rates because Wu Yanan surprisingly has a 82% finish rate. So anything can happen. But yeah, Montano probably should win. I like her for DraftKings. I think she's a nice, safe cash game play, takedowns, control time upside, all that good stuff. But as far as getting there from a betting perspective, nope. No. Not minus 240. At minus 200, maybe I'd consider it. But even then, I just don't want to get involved. I'm trying to keep my action to a minimum this week. And Montano will not be bet, especially at minus 240. Yeah, that's not happening. Under 2.5 rounds plus 240 probably goes the distance. But yeah, I like Montano as from a DraftKings perspective. But betting, nah, not going to get there. That's probably a little bit too wide. But she should win. All right, so we got in the chat real quick. Yes, sir. Boston Nick hanging out. Hit that like, 47 viewers. The numbers don't add up. Yeah, let's hit that like. Hit that like, guys. Really do appreciate that. Clint bet 5 units on Montano. Best of luck. She probably wins. It's not something I do personally, but she probably gets it done. She might score takedowns good for DK. Yeah, I think she'll score good. What I mentioned on my DraftKings video was I think she scores good, but she doesn't have a ceiling like a Rafa Garcia. She doesn't have a ceiling like a Bryan Barberena. She doesn't have a ceiling like a Ronnie Lawrence. So I think she scores good. I just don't think she scores 100, 110, 120 like some of these other guys can, but I think she can score like 90, 95. In my opinion, a pretty good cash game play. Have you took down any optimal lineups recently? Yeah, I did 2 weeks ago. But I shared it with like 20 people. That was UFC 264, so there was a ton of prizes or a ton of money on the pot. I think it was like 5,000 at first, something like that. So I took home like 900. I was very close last week. I needed Brendan Allen to score more. He scored 67 points. I thought that fight was going to score a lot more. If Brendan Allen would have scored more, would have had another takedown. But yeah, only 67 points from Brendan Allen, which was very weird. Last week's card was low-key entertaining. I agree. It was good. Like Eubanks, she amazed me. Yeah, Eubanks got it done. I had a bet on Eubanks inside the distance. I had a big bet on her as well. Was very happy with Eubanks getting that done there. I wish it would have went heavier on Eubanks in general and probably a little bit heavier on the Eubanks inside the distance. Definitely a missed opportunity there. It's just a levels fight there. Yeah, I like Benoit quite a bit, but I just can't see myself betting on it. I might take a look at a violence bet, which we'll talk about. But yeah, betting on Benoit, I don't know. Sartor's in charge. I was pissed with Allen's. Me too. I was expecting Allen to get takedowns early and often, possible sub. But no, he outstruck Punahele Soriano for 3 rounds, which, yeah, was not expecting that. We have Clint. I believe this is the first time Clint's making an appearance on the DK show. What is up, Clint? Rafa Garcia breaks the slate this week. I'm with you. I think he scores a ton. Already bet him inside the distance, and I might be looking to parlay him up with somebody on next week's card. But yeah, I saw Clint has a 5-unit max bet on Garcia. I like it. I'm not really confident in a lot of these fighters this week, but he is somebody that I am confident in. Appreciate that, Philip. I switched Mickey off my lineup last minute for Yule just because of salary and regret it. Yeah, big time. I didn't have much goal. I had like 15%. Was not expecting that. Yeah, Clint did drop the hammer on Garcia. What's up, buddy? I got to get ready for DK. It should be coming to my area soon. There you go. Is it now? What state are you living in? Yeah, that's awesome. Garcia plus 170. Yeah, that's a very good bet. I got it at plus 150. I missed it at plus 160, but yeah, I take that. Rootsmacher's never lost by decision. Brady, we got backstage to Titan FC for August 6th. There you go. Me and Danny still ain't too late to come. We'll see. I want to go so bad. Just kind of bad timing, but yeah, we'll see what happens. August 6th, that's next week, right? Tempting. Very tempting. I want to go. Last time was fun. We'll see. Clint will love DFS. It's addicting, man. It's addicting. So we will get into the next fight here. We have Bryan Barberena going against Jason Witt. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Bryan Barberena, 9,600. Like I mentioned earlier, salaries probably don't matter on this slate. You can pretty much build any lineup you want. And it's hard to project a 60-second finish, but if anybody on the slate's going to get it, Bryan Barberena has a very good chance. We've seen Jason Witt finished very early 2 times in the UFC, and I do want to go to the finish stats as I think they're very important for this fight. So Jason Witt has been finished 7 times. 7 times in all of his losses. Jason Witt has never lost by decision in 25 fights. You take a look at Bryan Barberena. First of all, he's fighting the much better competition. He's fought guys like Colby Covington. He's fought guys like Leon Edwards. He's fought guys like Vicente Luque, which, by the way, had a very close fight with Vicente Luque up until he got finished. So he's been fighting the much better level of competition. And, Barberena coming off of a pretty major surgery, but even the worst version of Bryan Barberena probably should be Jason Witt here. But with that said, Witt has a path to victory. Witt absolutely has a path to victory. We talked about Malcolm Gordon a few weeks ago where we all said, including me, Malcolm Gordon, he has the worst chin in the UFC. But what did Malcolm Gordon do? He shot a takedown within the first 2 seconds of the fight. Went for a takedown right away. That's what Jason Witt needs to do. It's just not something he does. He tends to get into these brawls at times, which I don't know why. He doesn't have the chin to back it up. If I was Jason Witt, I'd shoot a takedown within the first 5 seconds. But with that said, Bryan Barberena, his takedown defense is pretty good. 60%. It's that low because Colby Covington took him down 12 times. No shame in that. I will say that Anthony Ivy did take him down 5 times. I don't love that, but he was able to get up. I think Bryan Barberena actually has a very underrated ground game. He has a couple submissions in the UFC. And yeah, I like Bryan Barberena here. More of a tournament play for me. I will not be playing Bryan Barberena in cash. I do like Garcia a little bit more, but Bryan Barberena, he has first round knockout upside. If Witt exchanges with Barberena for any period of time, there's a very good chance that Witt gets knocked out. I mean, this guy's chin is so bad. He passed Malcolm Gordon on pound for pound, worst chin in the UFC. Malcolm Gordon redeemed himself. Maybe Witt does here. It's just the guy has no chin. The guy has absolutely no chin. Bryan Barberena, better competition, the more skilled fighter. And even at his worst, he should probably get a knockout here. 80% finish rate for Barberena. I do think he finishes here. And a bet that I do like is going to be Bryan Barberena inside the distance. I'll be honest, I don't love the minus 275 at all. I don't love that at all because Witt, he has a path to victory. But Bryan Barberena inside the distance it still is, plus 100. So I did take a shot on Bryan Barberena inside the distance at plus 100. I think if he wins, it is inside the distance. Really hard to see Witt lasting 15 minutes with Bryan Barberena. Really hard to see Witt lasting 15 minutes with anybody, to be honest, outside of Cole Williams. But good chance Barberena does win inside the distance. Witt's never lost by decision. 7 finish losses. No chin. Instead of laying the minus 275, I think the inside the distance is the way to go. I opted for the inside the distance rather than the knockout, which is plus 150, because I can see a club and sub as well. Witt has been subbed, and Barberena does have a couple subs in the UFC. Underrated ground game. So I did take the inside the distance instead of the knockout just to cover both angles. But either way, I do like Barberena to win inside the distance. 9,600, don't hate it, but more of a tournament play for me. You won't really see me go there in cash. Barberena will defend 4 out of 5 takedowns versus Witt. Yeah, Witt has a path to victory. I think Witt is honestly a solid pump play, because if he does win, it's going to be based off of takedowns, control time. So we'll see. And exactly, that's a really good point. Barberena is nothing like Little Figgy. Little Figgy should not be in the UFC. Bryan Barberena is tested, fought some of the best guys in the division. So heck yeah, I agree with that. Will Bryan Barberena's injury allow Witt to get him down and hold him down, though? Like I said, even the worst version of Barberena, probably still should win this fight. But the minus 270 is kind of crazy, to be honest. KO, I agree. Jason the chin on Witt. Cooked inside a round. There's no multiverse where Barberena is so shit he can't chin Witt in round 1. Yeah, I think round 1 is a very good likelihood. Why play Barberena money line if Witt always gets finished? Exactly. So I did pull the trigger on Barberena. I bet Barberena inside the distance and Garcia inside the distance, both at plus money. I mean, I like those. I think both of them get it done. Both their opponents have both never lost by decision. 150 for KO for Bryan. Yep, that's probably how he does win. I took the inside the distance just to cover the sub just in case. We've seen crazier things happen. We saw Jandiroba get her first knockout win. We saw Paul Craig get a TKO, so I don't want to fuck around with that too much. All right, let's see what we got. Next fight, we have Ryan Benoit, Zarrukh Adashev. And yeah, I like Ryan Benoit in this fight. Thomas mentioned it. It's one of those cards where, hey, you might take a look at Ryan Benoit and bet him. And yeah, I think it's a good fight for him. He is a state champion in wrestling. He is a brown belt in BJJ, great grappler, ton of power. And I do want to bring up the finish stats because this is crazy. For a flyweight, this guy hits like a truck. 17 fights. Ryan Benoit, a 90% finish rate, 80% by knockout, 10% by submission. We take a look at Zarrukh Adashev. He has been finished in 2 of his 3 losses. I think if Ryan Benoit goes to the takedowns in this fight, he's going to make it look easy. I think he has the much, much, much better ground game. He's fought the much, much, much better competition. And I think if he does choose to go for takedowns, he will have success. It's just not something he really does. But hey, this is a fight where he probably should. I think he'll make it look easy. Even on the feet, I think Benoit has a very good chance to knock this guy out. The guy hits like an absolute truck, like against Tim Elliott, which, by the way, I bet on Tim Elliott, and I was really scared that they were going to give the fight to Benoit because it was a close fight. Benoit hit Elliott with some hard shots. I remember he hit him with a nasty knee that hurt Elliott, and only Tim Elliott, who has an unreal chin, could take some shots like that. I don't think Zarrukh was able to take a shot like that, and he was hitting Elliott hard. So I think the KO is live for Benoit, and I think the sub is live for Benoit. I don't know if I'm going to bet the money line, though. I'm kind of interested in Benoit inside the distance because, again, 90% finish rate. Hits like a truck for a flyweight. Brown belt in BJJ. Capable grappler. Zarrukh has been finished in 2 of his 3 losses. So I do want to see what Benoit is inside the distance. They're really slacking on props for this fight, but Benoit, they don't have anything. All they have is Zarrukh Adashev inside the distance. I want to say they had it on DK, though. I think they had it on DK Sportsbook. I want to say they had it at like plus 335 for Benoit inside the distance. I might, take a little shot on that, but I'm going to wait and see what BetOnline comes out with. I'm going to wait and see what FanDuel Sportsbook comes out with for Benoit inside the distance. I also saw Benoit by sub was like plus 1,200 on DraftKings Sportsbook. If he does go that route, I think he can get a sub. So that's something I'm going to be looking at there. He is minus 131. It's tempting, but it is Ryan Benoit. He is like 10-7, 10-8. Zarrukh, 3-3. Not horrible, but I do like Ryan Benoit in this fight. But could be a trap line. I might just take the inside the distance at like a crazy price. Are Rani going to KO him? Yeah, we saw Lauren Murphy get her first sub. That was disappointing, man. I remember having Lauren Murphy by KO, and then she gets her first submission. It sucks when it happens. I bet Janaroba by submission. She gets a KO. That's why taking the inside the distance is probably the best way to go because anything can happen. If you ever want to bet Benoit, Adashev is probably the guy to bet on him against. Yeah, I agree. Zarrukh is going to give Benoit the fight he wants, a firefight. Yeah, they're going to stand in the middle and bang, and Benoit can crack. He can hit very, very hard. But, take this guy down. Take him down. Use that brown belt. Use that grappling. So, we'll see. All right, next fight we have Kang Ho Kong going against Ronnie Yahya. From a betting perspective, no way. DraftKings, if anything, I like Yahya 7,700. If anything, I'm not too interested in this fight, but an interesting aspect of this fight is you take a look at Kong and some of his fights, or all of his fights pretty much, he gets the fight down to the mat. He averages 2.53 takedowns per 15 minutes, a 59% accuracy. You see Ronnie Yahya 24% takedown defense. So if Kong wants to get this fight down to the mat, he absolutely can. It's just, does he want to do that? Does he want to go to the mat with Ronnie Yahya? And don't get me wrong, Kong's a very good grappler, a very capable grappler, but Ronnie Yahya is definitely next level. For me, not going to bet this either way. Kong, 8,500, I don't really love it. Not much of a finisher. We'll take a look at the finish rates, actually. Kong, a 77% finish rate, 65% by submission. Don't see Kong submitting Ronnie Yahya. I'd be pretty shocked if that happened. Ronnie Yahya, 78% finish rate, 78% by submission. I could see Ronnie Yahya submitting Kong. 7,700. I don't hate it. I will have some Yahya. As far as Kong, probably won't get there, to be honest. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the game plan is for Kong. Is he going to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, outstrike Ronnie Yahya? Or is he going to engage in that grappling, which is definitely going to be playing with fire? So we'll definitely see. No way would I bet this fight ever, but I do kind of like Yahya as an underdog on DraftKings. We'll take a look at the odds here. We have Kong minus 130, Yahya plus 110. The fight doesn't go to decision, -110. Don't love it. Yahya by submission, +200. Terrible line. Yeah, I'm not going to be betting anything on this fight, but Yahya on DraftKings for me. As far as a pick, I'll go Kang, but he's going to have to fight smart. He's going to have to fight really smart and keep it on the feet. Don't engage in the grappling. I think he could hang, but yeah, just playing with fire. Benoit +330 inside the distance. Yeah, I'm going to wait and see what FanDuel gives me, but yeah, I might be taking a crack at that. Adashev stood his ground against Sumadarji, won a round. Yeah, a lot of people thought that Medardi would knock him out, including me. Just parlayed 2 Bellator Russians, Rafa inside the distance and Bryan inside the distance for +817. There you go. Hopefully that hits for you, man. I feel bad for guys taking Eubanks and Nascimento by sub. These guys can do everything. Yeah, I bet Eubanks inside the distance, and I bet Nascimento inside the distance. And yeah, I did think the most likely scenario was both of them to win by sub, but just take the inside the distance instead. It'll pay off in the long run. I'm sick of getting screwed, to be honest. So I just take the inside, unless there's like a crazy prop, like for example, Benoit +1200 by sub. Might take a little shot at that. Adashev, good kickboxer. Yep, he has a kickboxing background. Bad MMA fighter. I agree. Benoit showed us he can lose several times. That worries me. Zarrukh is a question mark. I agree with both of those. That's why I'm probably not going to bet it. Last time, people were betting on Zarrukh for some reason. Now many are on Benoit. People were betting Zarrukh against Sumadarji, or are you talking about Tyson Nam? I think you're talking about Tyson Nam. He was a pretty popular underdog, and he got starched in like a minute. But yeah, we'll see what we got for the next fight here. Yeah, screw this fight, man. Cheyenne Bates, Gloria Paula. For DraftKings, probably going to cross it off. I think the Paula wins, but if she does win, is she going to score a lot? Probably not. Cheyenne Bates, probably the easiest fade on the card for me. 20% knockout rate. If she does win, it will be by decision. If she does win, maybe she does get takedowns, control time, all that good stuff. But I'd rather play a Strickland. I'd rather play a Barberena. I'd rather play a Nico Montano. I'd rather play a Melsick. I'd rather play a Rafa Garcia. I'd rather play, you name it, any other fighter. I'd rather play than an 8,900 Cheyenne Bates. So could she win? Sure. But yeah, you won't see me betting this fight at all. Like, I was kind of tempted on the plus money by Gloria Paula, but I'm not a big fan of her as well. Losing to Jinyu Fry is not a good look. And I did not like how when she was taken down, she sat on her back and did nothing. Did not try to work her way back up to the feet. That was upsetting. And then Cheyenne Bates lost to Montserrat Ruiz. Cheyenne Bates tricked people into thinking Montserrat Ruiz was good. Just not a good look. Don't know why it's on the main card. They're trying to promote one of these fighters. I don't know who they want to win, really. I don't really care, to be honest. This is going to be a fight where I'm going to take a break. I might go out, chill outside. I might, make some dinner. But I'm probably not going to watch this fight, to be honest. Not going to bet it. You couldn't even pay me to bet Cheyenne Bates at -163 as a favorite. You cannot pay me to bet her. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I really don't care what happens, to be honest. And but yeah, one of these fighters are going to bounce back. Both fighters had a terrible look in their UFC debut. DePaula looked like crap. Bates looked like crap. One of these fighters will win. And as far as who it is, who knows? Who knows? But as far as a pick, I'll go to Paula. I think she is the better striker. Somebody got really mad at me for saying that, but she's a good striker. She actually is. Very solid striker. It's just she got stuck on her back against an atomweight and Jinyu Fry, a 36-year-old atomweight. Yeah, no DraftKings action. If anything, some DePaula, if anything, but there's so many better underdog plays than her, so can't really see myself getting there. Watch it for tape study reasons. I think like 8 out of 11 dogs won last week. Yeah, tons of dogs won last week. I like the Paula as a dog only because of the judges last week. Yeah, who knows? It's going to go to decision. And who knows what the judges are watching? They're probably not even watching. They're drunk. They're high. They need drug tested. So we don't know what fight the drugs or the judges are watching. Sometimes I feel like they're not watching the fight, DePaula looked like crap. Bates looked like crap. One of these fighters will win. I'm done. Yeah, exactly. It's a mess, man. This card is a mess. But this is what we're dealing with. At least we have a good card next week, you know? All right. So we will get to her girlfriend, Bueno Silva, 100% whips her ass every day. Yep, she's the much better fighter for sure. But I kind of thought, hey, I mean, she's training with Silva, but you lost to a 36-year-old atomweight and Jin Yu Fry. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to bet on this fight. And if you're confident either way, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So Niklas Stolze was supposed to fight Mounir Lazzez. Not sure why Lazzez pulled out. I'm guessing COVID. Who knows, though? And steps in Jared Gooden. So this fight happened or got announced that Gooden will be making a short notice replacement like an hour and a half ago. So I didn't have time to look into it. But I do know a little bit about Gordon. He has solid grappling, solid striker. He does, in 2 fights, land 4.77 significant strikes per minute. So he's very high volume. But he does absorb 7.60 significant strikes per minute with only a 49% striking defense. So he is very hittable, absorbs a lot. Against Alan Jouban, Jouban landed 168 significant strikes in that fight. And prior to that Gooden fight, believe it or not, Alan Jouban never landed 100 strikes before. Isn't that something? And Alan Jouban's, isn't he like 35, 36 years old? He's old, right? So, yeah, not a good look. And then against Abubakar Nurmagomedov, the grappler, Nurmagomedov outlands him 60-43. Again, not a good look. So, Stolze did open up as a favorite. I believe Block said it that Gooden is a plus 170 dog. So, Stolze probably around minus 200. Fair, probably should be a little bit closer. But yeah, Stolze, what I can say about him is he's a good grappler. I really do like this guy's ground game. He has no takedown defense at all, but he's good on the mat. He has like a 42% submission rate, 67% finish rate, coming from a kickboxing background. The striking's decent, and there's a good chance that he does beat Jared Gooden. So what makes this fight interesting on DraftKings is Stolze is going to be a favorite, and we're going to get to keep that price tag on Stolze of $7,000. So, man, he's going to be very high owned. Very high owned. I don't think he's great, but again, I got to look into the fight. I got to look into Gooden, but Stolze probably should win this fight, at least from like a first look standpoint. And if we're getting him at 7K, yeah, could be decent. Also, he can go for takedowns. Yeah, we'll see. So 7,000 for Stolze in this fight. I got to look into it a little bit more, but it's going to be really hard to pass it up, especially if he is a minus 200 favorite. So there's a pump play for you guys. Stolze 7K as a favorite. Hard to get away from that. Oh, I don't know what everybody was complaining about last week. It was awesome. Yeah, Clint, you killed it last week. Hit that big parlay. Shout out to you. Did you bet Barber? Did you bet Paiva? And then you bet Dillashaw, all 3 very controversial. So yeah, I feel bad for the people on the opposite side. I know people that bet Phillips, Maverick, and Corey Sandhagen. So you definitely you killed it last week, but man, yeah, the Phillips was bad, Maverick was bad. I didn't, the main event, solid decision. I mean, it was a close fight. Don't really complain about that, but the Phillips was bad. I thought Phillips should have been a draw, and then Maverick clearly won. But yeah, you had plus money on both those, so shout out to you. All the lucky bounce. That's how it goes. Typically, they go against you, it seems like, but when they go your way, you got to take it, right? You got to take it. So soak it up, enjoy it. Phillips killed me personally. It should have been a draw, but glad it helped out. It helped a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people were on the Barber money line plus money. A lot of people were on the Paiva. Paiva was a very popular dog play. But yeah, slightly disagree with those calls. Main event was fine. Stolze minus 200. Stolze opened up plus 110. The line flipped quick, as it probably should, to be honest. To Paula more of a finisher, I'll pick her. Tapology. Yes, she is. Phillips and Sandhagen won. I don't want to say Phillips won. I mean, he won the fight, but it should have been a draw. Like he beat his ass. He kicked his ass, man. I thought Paiva would not start round 2. That's how bad it was. He was just laying on the ground. Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't a 10-8, but that's what we're dealing with. That is the sport we watch, and that's why we love it, right? Unpredictability. Nothing's going to change. The judges are always going to suck. And sometimes it'll go your way, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it's went my way, awesome. Sometimes it hasn't, it's fine. Bad beats will happen, like the Mason Jones situation. Stuff like that happens. It sucks, but that's why we love the sport, to be honest. Barber robbery, yeah. Pivot draw, yeah. TJ close, but no robbery, yeah. I 100% agree with everything you just said. Dillashaw fought his ass off, props to him 100%. Yeah, Ian Heinisch, he didn't look like himself. That was like the worst Ian Heinisch we've ever seen. That fight was weird. Trolls be like, Clint stole my bets, my lunch money, and my bike. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the trolls as of late, but they are getting out of hand. Again, they're losers. If you're a troll, you're a loser, straight out. If you're gonna troll, like, make sure it's your real name and make sure it's your real profile picture. Don't hide behind a fake name. That's whack. All right. I feel like Kyler won that. Paiva was cold. If Kyler didn't jump on top of him, it would have been over. Yeah, I felt like he could have finished him multiple times in that first round. And regardless, like, Kyler fought like an idiot, man. Like, in that second round, all he had to do was get takedowns, get control time. But no, he was doing spinning shit, gassed out for no reason. So nobody to blame but himself, really. All right. Yeah. Not a good look when the loser scores more than the winner. That's a terrible look. It hasn't happened much, but it's a horrible look when that happens. All right, so getting to the main event here. Before we do so, if you guys can leave a like, let's get those likes up. Also, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio so not miss out on the content throughout the week. Lots of great guys here on Pub. Of course, the guys will be going live on Saturday for the fights, as always. Check out Stat Diggers if you have not yet. Check out Clint's show, the Diary Podcast, if you have not. I believe he had James Lynch on. Solid guest there. But yeah, we'll get to the main event. So look at these price tags. Sean Strickland, 9,300. Uriah Hall, 6,900. And yeah, I'm gonna pick Hall by knockout. I think Strickland is absolutely the better fighter. I think he's more well-rounded. I think he's the better striker. I think he throws more volume. He's the better wrestler, the better grappler. I think he's better everywhere, but Uriah Hall does have that X factor, and that is that power. Uriah Hall is a finisher. Uriah Hall is a knockout artist. I believe he's finished like 8 of his last 10 wins. You have an 81% finish rate. Sean Strickland has been finished before. Uriah Hall has been finished a ton, 4 times by knockout. Either way, I see somebody getting finished in this fight, whether it is Strickland. I can see him very well getting a knockout, or Uriah Hall. Obviously, he can win by knockout as well. And from like a DraftKings perspective, this line seems pretty off. Like Uriah Hall, if he wins, 1, it's going to be by knockout. 2, it's going to be on the optimal lineup. He has 5 rounds to work with, 5 rounds to find that knockout shot. And it's one of those fights where I feel Sean Strickland's going to be looking phenomenal all fight, but Uriah Hall probably catches him at some point. But if Sean Strickland does not get caught by Hall, yeah, he's going to win. He's probably going to win by knockout himself. I think the damage, the volume will all add up, and I think Strickland will eventually get that KO. But yeah, for me, dog or pass for me. I'm going to say Hall does catch him at some point. But as far as like a bet, there's something that I really do like. It's going to be the alternative under 4.5 rounds. 3.5, it's not terrible. It did open up at like plus 135. I wish I would have got on that. It's now minus 115. But the alternative 4.5 rounds, minus 145, I got it at minus 150 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I like that quite a bit. I do not see this going the distance. I see either Hall getting a knockout, obviously, or Sean Strickland. I think he can very well get a knockout himself. Hall's been knocked out 4 times. If you guys did see the interview with Sean Strickland, he's talking about going in here, biting down on his mouthpiece and swinging leather with Uriah Hall. And I love to hear that, especially from a violence bet standpoint. And another thing I wanted to point out was Uriah Hall by KO plus 285 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I want to say it was like plus 350 for Uriah Hall by knockout, which is insane, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, there it is right there. Uriah Hall by knockout, which is plus 350. Like that's off, right? That's how he wins. I think it should be correlated more towards that money line. So I did bet the under 4.5. I liked it a lot, and there's a good chance that I will be taking a little shot on this plus 350. I do want to see what FanDuel opens it up at. FanDuel's slacking. I don't know what they're doing. I feel like they kind of gave up. I mean, they did good for a while, getting props out early and stuff. But now we see DraftKings doing it, which DraftKings used to get them out on like Friday, but now DraftKings are already out, so that's weird. So hopefully FanDuel gets it together. But yeah, they're definitely slacking this week, and they have been the last couple of weeks. But Yeah, DK, Uriah Hall, 6,900. Sign me up. Strickland, I'll have some of him as well. But yeah, if Uriah Hall does win, expect him to be in the optimal lineup. Whereas I do like Rafa Garcia more than Strickland. I do like Barberena slightly a little bit more than Strickland. I do like Ronnie Lawrence more than Strickland, but Strickland's not a terrible play. Yeah, I think Stolze will become like minus 200, I got to imagine. Y'all on Pub Sports Radio are a legend. Appreciate that, Leon. You're the man. We have the GOAT. The GOAT, a little appreciation for all the good work you do. Sincerely, the GOAT. Appreciate that, Tajik. You are the man for sure. Again, congrats on your win. 9K is huge. Yeah, enjoy it, man. That's awesome. Damn, you surprised me with that Hall pick. I don't blame you. I mean, yeah, it's a weird pick because you take a look at it. Strickland's better everywhere. He's the better fighter. He's the much better fighter. But Hall has 25 minutes to land a knockout shot on Strickland. And if Strickland does come in here and says what he's going to do, he said he's going to come in here, bite down on his mouthpiece, get into a war with Uriah Hall. I don't think that's going to end well for Sean Strickland. I agree. Hall is KO or bust. So the plus 350, if you do like Hall, probably the way to go. Cardio isn't a 5-rounder. He looked bad versus Silva. He's still able to get a late finish, though. Uncle Weezy said that we've never seen either of them in the 5th round. I think Uriah Hall's been to the 4th round once. Not sure about Strickland, but typically we do not see these guys go into those later rounds. Uriah Hall never breathes hard in the 4th round. He does have low output. Yep. Uriah Hall was underdog to Evan Lewis. That's how much they hate him. Yeah, not looking back at it, that's pretty terrible. Hall is going to kick the shit out of Strickland's motorcycle knee. Yeah, he will. Yeah, but it's that power. Like I think he's going to be losing to Strickland pretty much the whole fight up until a knockout shot lands. If it doesn't land, yeah, Strickland probably looks like a huge favorite. But the power, man. The power. Yep, Strickland has been KO'd once, but you take a look at Strickland's record, and Hall's going to have the most power of anybody who's ever fought, and by a very, very significant margin. Like, this is going to be the most dangerous fighter Strickland has fought, and really there's not a close second. I think there's a bit of recency bias with Hall having beat Spider and Weidman, but I didn't see enough to say he won't fold under pressure. Andy's 37. I think he's 36. And I don't know about recency bias. He's a big dog, right? It's a pretty big dog. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Strickland. Great fighter. But I'll take the dog as far as a pick. But either way, like, if you like, some violence, under 4.5, it covers both sides. Yeah, like, one punch KO power, 25 minutes to land it. If he lands it, it's fine. If not, I think Strickland does finish him either way. Yeah, Kamaru Usman does destroy Hall. I agree. So yeah, we'll kind of quickly sum it up here. Up top, I like Rafa Garcia quite a bit. He will be in my cash lineup, I can assure you of that. Also, I do like Barberena, more of a tournament play. I do think he has 1st round finish upside. He really should finish Jason Witt. And then Ronnie Lawrence. So those 3 are probably my top 3 up in that higher range. Montano, I think she's fine in cash. Strickland, I think he's fine as well. As far as dogs, I'm looking at Uriah Hall as a pump play. Obviously, you get Niklas Stolze as a dog price, but he will be a favorite on the money line. So Stolze is somebody that's going to be very popular and for a very good reason. The Paula, probably, I'm picking her to win, but no interest from DK. Ronnie Yahya, if he wins, submission. Yahya is an underdog I'm looking at. Witt, honestly, not the worst pump play in the world. Takedown upside, control time upside. Barberena, coming off of a major surgery. Not terrible, but he probably does get knocked out. Englund is an underdog I'm looking at for sure. This fight in general, Melsick, I think, is very live for that knockout. Englund, if he does win a bunch of takedowns, control time, probably a late finish himself. And what else we got? Continue Fry, no way. Trevin Jones, underdog. He's been starching people as of late, showing a ton of power. So Jones is underdog I'm looking at. And then Philip Rowe as well as underdog. And Kosuke as well. This fight in general. So the fights I'm going to be heavily invested in will be Kosuke Rowe, Jones Lawrence, Garcia, Barberena Witt, and Stolze probably, and then the main event. Those are my highest there. But yeah, it should be a fun card, guys. For the most part, at least in terms of like a DraftKings perspective, on paper it sucks, but I do think it can surprise some people for sure. So that's about it, guys. Again, leave a like on the way out is much appreciated. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. I'll be posting my betting action on Saturday. I do have a couple bets thus far. I'm gonna try to keep it like really not gonna try to bet much this week. This week is a shit show to say the absolute least. So gonna try to keep it low here. Couple bets here and there. I might do a parlay with somebody from this card, parlay with next card. I think there's some decent parlay options next week, and about done, or I'm already done with the research for this card. I'm about going to start researching for next week's card, UFC 265. Probably get some early bets out for next week as well, some spots sticking out early. But yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up. And that's about it. Appreciate you all for hanging out. As always, every Tuesday, again, tune in next Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Mark it down on your calendar. Tell some friends. I have a big surprise. So that's about it, guys. Good luck on your action, and let's make some money for UFC Vegas 33. See you guys.